I really got into Daktronics kind of by happenstance, as many things in life come about. I happened to run into Al Kurtenbach and Dwayne Sander one evening after I did some of my homework. I was taking some summer classes to finish my bachelor's. Went down to one of the local establishments for a little refreshment, and Al Kurtenbach and Dwayne Sander were down there with their wives, Irene and Phyllis, and invited me to sit down with them. And through the course of the conversation, they asked if I'd be interested in working for Daktronics part-time while I was going to graduate school that fall. I asked them, what is Daktronics? And they explained that it was a company they just had started. And they said, when we're finished here, we can go show you. So after we finished there, we went across the alley, and there was this small little room they'd rented, and that was Daktronics. And so I worked part-time then as I was going through graduate school. But then after I finished my master's, I had a delay before I had a military commitment. I had some time in between going into the Army. So I asked Al if he had something to keep me occupied until that time, and he said, well, they're developing the mat side wrestling scoreboard, and they had a commitment to have these at a tournament in February, and this was December 1st. So that was my first project as a full-time employee was to do the mat side wrestling scoreboards. The 1980 Winter Olympics was, for me, one of the more memorable. And when you realize that Al Kurtenbach was the project manager, I was a project engineer, and we pretty much had our full technical engineering team on site for the Olympics, you get a sense of how big a project that was for us as a company. It was our first international big project. When we got that order in 1978, we were, I'm sure, less than 100 people. And the microprocessor had just been invented. And so we were just learning how to use microprocessors in our control systems. I think anybody in the early days of Daktronics did their all-nighters on projects on site, getting scoreboards up and running for deadlines and that sort of thing. But there was always that, the satisfaction of turning on the scoreboard or the project for the customer in the end, and seeing their excitement with their new product too. It's great to see what Daktronics has accomplished in the 50 years that we've been in business, and I certainly thank all the employees over the years, some who are with us now and some who are no longer with us, for helping us get to that point, because it's a lot of hard work by a lot of people and a lot of commitment that made it successful. When I started, and I was still part-time, there were 2 full-time people there. There was 1 engineer and 1 technician when I started. And when I retired, there was about 2,500, which is about where we are today. I hope that we can continue to have the culture that we would have, but where technology would be, I think, is certainly, I don't have the answer to that one.